And we are back yet again with another incredible episode brought to you by Draggin Bags. We say it every week because we love them so much. They're the best bags.
They are.
They will literally make you a better thrower. They look gorgeous.
And wait till you see the new series coming out, My Bags.
Dude. It's a dual slick, but don't sleep on it because guess what? Hole friendly.
It's not like dual slick.
It's not super slick, but it has playability, but it moves up those slower boards quite nicely. And yeah, I'm super excited to start letting those things rip. Let's not sleep on the Charlies either. Oof. Love throwing thems. The Power Dragon, the tried and true. I mean, come on now. Can't go wrong. Head over to Draggin Bags and just check out what we're talking about. Drop code BIGASP12 at checkout. It's going to save you money.
It will.
Because we're super nice like that. Again, BIGASP12 at checkout over at DraggingBags.com. Do it.
Welcome to the Big Ass Cornhole Show with Sean and Dave, the host you know, talking cornhole life and random fun. Grab a beer, let's get it done. From tossing bags to let's wild ride, tune in and join the party, don't you hide. It's the Big Ass Cornhole podcast time with Sean and Dave. It's always fun.
All right, welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole podcast. We are now joined by a guy that how many times has been on now? 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Mr. Trey Ryder. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I should be keeping track of that, I guess.
I know. I think it's
we
probably
should have
6 or 7. I think it's probably 6 or 7.
It's in that ballpark for sure.
Okay. How you been?
Living the dream, staying busy.
Yeah.
In a good way. So it's been a good, 6 months or so and getting ready. I shouldn't even say we're getting ready for the signature season now, but we're in it now.
Yeah,
but it's been a good road up to it. And it's been great. How about you guys?
No, good, man. Just been traveling a bunch early on. It's been crazy. I mean, we've been to Texas. We were in Florida for St. Patrick's Day, which is awesome.
Then back to Texas.
I have to recommend next time. I know that you frequent Disney World quite often. Next time you're in Orlando, you got to check out my former college roommate has opened an Irish pub down there. It's in College Station or College Park, I think is what they call it. Like the area just outside of downtown Orlando. The most authentic like Irish pub you can ever go to.
Castle.
It's awesome. Yeah,
shout out to the
Castle.
Castle.
Check it out. We're there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I know. So I just try to shout out anyone that
just go there. So. It's great food.
Yeah, other than that, man,
atmosphere.
nothing's new. Just working and doing this, and finally the fucking signature season is here. So don't get me wrong, like the opens are fun, right? Opens are a good indicator as we get closer, like who's playing well. But like when you get signature, it's just a different feel, right? Like we say it every year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just feels like it's a lead up to it. And then, this year with the opens, making it part of the pro series this year and adding pro points to it and making them adds a little bit more oomph to the open season. But at the same time, like this is where the champions are made. This is where the titles are won, and this is where people get remembered. And, when we start talking about seasons, people are remembered as, oh, that was the season that belonged to that person. It was Jamie Graham's season. It was Eddie Grindersleeve and Caleb Batson's season. It was Mark Richards' season, right? And that doesn't start in October or January. It starts in April, and it runs through the World Championship. So we'll see whose season it becomes, whether it just becomes Mark Richards and Tony Smith the rest of the way, or if it's somebody else jumps in. Is Clausen going to be the person we're talking about throughout the entire rest of the year? And that'll be exciting.
Okay, so let me ask you. So let's jump into first signature just a little bit. Let's start with Clausen, right? I think it's not that he came out of nowhere, right? Because he's obviously done very well on the junior tour. Like he's done very well at open events. So and across the board, I think is pretty considered. I think he was drafted very highly too, like on team. So I mean, his name has been known. How shocked were you that like he took it down? Like at his first signature event. I mean, because he's not like a Jeremiah Ellis. He hasn't been a pro for a while, and you know what I mean? Like he comes in, and it's not like his first true pro event, but I mean, it's pretty impressive that the kid wins.
Yeah, no, I was pretty shocked. I won't sugarcoat it. Like I didn't have him on my radar to take it all down, especially when you look at who he went through. Once he
Yeah.
lost, right? He lost to Damon Dennis early. He beats Trey Birchfield. He beats Logan Chamberlain.
Yep.
Obviously Matt Guy in the semifinals, Tony Smith's finals, but he also went through Gavin Cano
Yep.
twice. He went through Eric Davis, the round limited king. I mean, he had to go through a number of different people in order to do it. I just didn't see it, but his play style is optimal, right? He's a high PPR guy that's also got the shot selections, right? I mean, he is a dynamic shot maker, but he kind of in the Zach Aiken-esque mentality. He likes to keep the PPR high, which is always going to be good in a way that's going to allow people to be successful, right? And so for him, it was working for him, right? And I think boards played a little bit faster than sometimes they do on some signatures. So in this instance, I think that benefited him. I am going to be interested once we get to, traditional classic format of play to 21. And if the board slowed down a little bit in certain venues and situations, if it ends up being that he can continue to do that as well. But overall, you can't take anything away from him. He was an incredible player across that entire day and entire weekend. And he made the most of his moment, which most people, when they get in that situation, don't have the ability to do. So he was calm, he was cool, he was collected, and it was impressive.
And again, I don't know why I had this feeling, but when I was watching the broadcast, I felt like if we didn't get the doubles finals that we got, I would have felt like it was kind of just a letdown. Like if we would have had and it's no offense to anyone involved in this, but if it would have been like Kano and Soto versus Dupler and Kipple, blah. And then Clausen ends up winning. It's like, Jesus, 5 years from now, no one's going to remember who won this who won this event. So let me ask you, so it's kind of like a two-part thing. And again, this is not a shot at Clausen at all, but he's also a junior player. Is it good for the game when a kid that young comes out and wins? And then is it good because when a relatively unknown guy can go through the bracket and beat all these blue chip players, when we're trying to still in this growth of the game period?
Yeah. So I think if you had asked me that question probably a year and a half ago, I would have maybe I wouldn't have said it on a podcast, but I might have said it on the side. I was like, probably not.
Yeah.
But I think that's been a big 6 months change for me. And we can get into a little bit about this, but just because there's a lot of things, I think different about the ACL's mentality coming up here and something that we've developed a new mentality for the game and a new approach. But I would say that it's nice in that, yes, you can showcase anyone can play and anyone can win. Because for us, that motivates other people to want to play, right? If someone says, oh, if that person can do it, I can do it. That's music to my ears, right? And that allows us to expand the game that we want to. Now, it's funny you say that, though, as far as when you talk about excitement and energy level, one thing that we have to talk about in all of our production meetings, because before every single broadcast, you have a production meeting, the running joke is we're going to do all this work. And if the matches are bad, the broadcast isn't very good, right? Yeah. So it doesn't matter, but it's our job as broadcasters and as producers and as content creators and a number of different things and different roles. We have to make the best show we can, regardless of what the results are, right?
100%.
Because if we can make the best show, then it does speak to something, right? If we come out and tell the story of why this is important, and we showcase a feature, and we talk about what it is to be a part of the ACL, and we get people enthralled with all these different aspects, and then the game stinks. It's like, hey, well, game wasn't the best, but hey, at least I learned these other things. Whereas on the flip side of the coin, if you get this incredible match, it was like, man, this was such a full, complete broadcast. And yeah, maybe some of those things get overshadowed, but at the same time, you can't control how the matches are, what the results of the matches are. So you just have to work on trying to control everything else. So I think in a way that particular show was really cool and really interesting, right? Because we got the power, we got to show both things. We got to show how we may be witnessing one of the best, if not the best, doubles teams of all time on a dominant run that we may never see again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got to see a junior kid come out of nowhere, blindside everybody, dominate arguably the second best player in the world, right, in the finals to take it all down. And it was like, what the hell just happened, right? So in a way, that could be, we view both as a positive, just for their different reasons.
I think it really comes down to, like, where does Clausen end up at the end of the year? If he's end up and he wins Rookie of the Year and he has a really awesome season, this was just like the first. Like Tiger Woods had to win a first tournament. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like he's going to be the greatest all time, but if he wins this and then has like a lackluster rest of the year, like it's going to be like, well, fuck me. Like we were robbed. Who
won the first pro title of 2024?
Was it Mark Richards? No. Wait, no. Pro title is for singles.
Yep.
It was Ellis.
You forget that shootout singles that same weekend went to Ian Cripps.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's right.
Nowhere.
That's right. I forgot you guys had the separate events.
Everybody.
Yep.
Took it down. Right. Yeah. So I think I only bring up that little bit because I think you are trying to make that point in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's like it only matters how the rest of his season goes. Yeah. Ian Cripps comes out of nowhere in front of his hometown last year.
Yep.
Wins it. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, is this going to be like, did we not see this coming? And is this going to be the crowning of a new U18 champion across the entire season? Yeah. Ian Cripps. Now, the rest of the season, fine, solid, nothing wrong with what he did.
Correct.
It was also round limited play in shootout singles at the beginning of that year when it came to Ian Cripps. So I think, again, it just goes back to something that I harp on a lot, is that it is tough for junior players to show consistency.
Yeah.
It's just not something that we've seen in our sport. And I'm excited to find and see the first U18 player that does show that level of consistency. I mean, probably the most consistent U18 player that we've ever had of all time. I mean, maybe Sammy Soto, right? I mean, if you think about it, hasn't had a ton of ups and downs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Been pretty consistent, right? At certain times maybe viewed as the best player in the world and hasn't always held that status. But the idea is, it's going to be difficult for Clausen continue to rise up to the level of what he just accomplished, but it doesn't necessarily take away from what he was able to do.
Now, I would say it's a trick question because I didn't consider like that round limited stuff pro until you guys forced us to consider it pro. So like, let's just leave it there. Okay. So
I knew it was a trick question. That's why I asked it.
It was a good question though. It really was.
I knew the answer was going to be Ellis, right? So that I just say that to pull that out.
All right. So you mentioned a few guys. All right, let's talk about Matt Guy just for 1 second. Right. So can we talk about, and I don't know if you could see this, right? But when you watch it on the broadcast, right, and he misses that first bag, his soul just about left his body, and all the stuff that he'd been talking about learning with like the mental coach went right out the fucking window because it felt like he lost the match after that moment. Did you get a little bit of that sense as well?
You know what's funny is, so as a broadcaster, I have a unique perspective in that I missed it. So, and I wouldn't tell anybody that.
I get it. Yeah.
Just put it on a podcast so everybody else knows now. But when he threw that first bag off the board,
it was so not even off the board. It would barely hit the board. It was so bad. Like it was bad.
I was still in get the match going mode, right? So I'm actually looking at Jeff, right? And so because the other thing is like when you're broadcasting, so I'm naturally talking to him, and so I'm more center to the court than Jeff. So when I look to Jeff on my right, Matt is all the way on my left, kind of throwing the same direction that I'm looking. And then all of a sudden I kind of complete my thought with Jeff, and it's around the time the bag lands and I see the bag on the back of behind the board. I'm like, I paused for a second. If you go back and listen to it, and Jeff actually comes in and says some type of analysis around him missing the first bag. And now I was frazzled. Like,
honestly, it worked out better because there was like this uncomfortable pause. And like, it just like, you could just see Matt's face and he just like puts his head down. Just like, oh shit. Like, oh my God, the match is over. Like it was,
yeah, I think it was, in a way, he's the most experienced player of all time.
Yes.
But he's also maybe one of the most inexperienced over the past 3.5 years in that moment.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I felt like it was almost so much, right? I mean, look, let's make a very relevant comparison, right? Is that Rory McIlroy, 5, 6, 7, however many years ago it was when he had the Masters won and he saw it slip away because he wasn't used to that moment, and it was added pressure that he built on top of himself.
I mean, Matt Guy has the broadcast yips. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, at this point, we can say it, right? I mean, if you really go back even to when he's come into the ACL, we've never seen Matt Guy played Matt Guy levels. Never. Yeah. Really? Have we ever seen his true potential on the broadcast?
It's been hit or miss. There's been
not live stream going 40. I can just hear the fucking people like, oh, he played Alex Hicks. Like, I'm talking about big time under the lights. We've never seen Matt Guy perform. Now, when he played with Jamie Graham, yeah, he's only throwing 4 bags and giving it back to Graham, who happens to be really fucking good too. So I'm talking about in singles, we've never seen Matt Guy live up to potential on broadcast. It's kind of crazy.
I would say the only exception being when he actually beat Zaft and he won in Vegas.
Okay.
Because when he beat Zaft in Vegas, so that was 2022
kickoff
battle. And he made that Final Four. He made the finals. Then he played Zaft. Zaft played a hell of a final, and he came through and won that. Now, at the same time, I do get it. Now, there's a theory that I'm starting to develop a little bit with Matt in that because of his bag selection, Matt likes, we always talk about Matt liking slick conditions, things of that nature. However, Matt is used to pretty moderate conditions, and sometimes board conditions for pro events can even sometimes, depending on the area, tend to get a little bit tackier in some instances, depending on where we are. And so because of that, he makes bag selections based on that. So if we do get to a very, very slick condition, I think there may be an argument made that sometimes if we get too slick, that Matt actually is not the ideal loft and trajectory that he likes. So I could maybe say that there was a little bit in conditions that can contribute to it as well, because if we're thinking about it, he lost that game on 2 bags, right?
His first 2 bags.
Not because 6 points did him in.
No.
But once those 6 points were gone,
Correct.
it was a different mentality. The thing was over.
He just never trusted his bag again. You could see it.
Correct. And because he didn't trust it, and maybe he was fooled by the, whatever, right? If the boards are a little bit slower, does he maybe stay on the board? We're talking about giving up 4, and now all of a sudden he's not. The difference between 4 and 6 really isn't that much, but mentally it's
huge.
A mountain.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like his line was just off, and then like if that first bag was just so bad, he's like, oh shit, like I have no idea where my line is right now. And again, when you're playing super fast boards, if you don't know where your line's at, you're fucked.
Yep. I've been there.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the start of every game.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, for sure.
First 2 rounds, I'm just like, don't be down 10.
Yeah.
All right. If I can maintain that, maybe I have a shot. Not round limited though. That's out the window. I could never play that.
I will say I've come around to round limited a little bit. In the most perfect of circumstances, when the game is great, right, and it comes down to the last match and it comes down to the last round, it is very exciting. I'll say it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But rarely have we really gotten that moment all that much. Now, in the perfect scenario, yeah, it is perfect. And I understand, again, for TV, it's like the perfect format for you guys, because timing wise, it just works out well. We got to discuss this mid match timeout though, because like that's just got to stop. Like it's brutal.
Well, I got responses to both. So
okay.
So the first is you guys get a bunch of breaking news stuff, so you guys can break a lot of good stuff.
Cool.
But the first of which is we've heard the feedback on round limited, so I can say that we will be moving on from round limited play beginning with next season, with the exception of celebrity events and teams events.
Wow.
So teams events
Holy
will
shit.
maintain the round limited play. Celebrity events will maintain the round limited play. But across the board, we're going to go to classic format for all amateur and pro, normal singles and doubles competition. And there was a lot of thought that went into this.
Okay.
I kind of teased on it a little bit, but there's kind of been a new strategy with the ACL. And the new strategy has come, and this is really what I've been personally working on for the past 6 months, is a brand new 5-year plan for the ACL and trying to understand, all right, what's next, right? I mean, years ago, it was, trying to get on TV. And then after that, it was trying to create a pro division. And then it was like trying to create teams. And then it was trying to do all these different things, right? And so I think we've done a really good job of establishing the top level of our sport. But, if the ACL wants to be something where we have full-time professional athletes and we put on the best events in the world with a robust staff that's large, and we're reaching hundreds of millions of people a year. We just plain and simple have to lean in and grow the grassroots effort of the game. And that's just a big focus for us. So, and so because of that, like, we want to do what the community has been begging for and asking for is trying to get rid of round limited play. Now it means tournaments are longer, right? Yeah. And there's got to be ways that we find a way around that. But at the same time, I think we have to be a player-friendly sport, because the way that the ACL, if you're getting real businessy about it, right, your customer acquisition, right? For us, for a while, we were trying to acquire fans, and I think that was a bad approach, or not the right approach, maybe not bad approach, right? And really what it should have been was acquiring players, right? Because even if you are a cornhole fan, nobody's going to buy a ticket to a broadcast and just show up to watch cornhole and then leave, right? What do they want to do? They want to show up. They want to throw a little cornhole, have a couple beers.
It's not a spectator sport. Correct. It's a participation like sport. You get fans by getting people to like playing in themselves.
Yeah. So then they have to go. So I have more thoughts on that. But anyway, the second part, I want to get your second one, which is the mid-game timeouts. Look, I completely disagree.
Okay.
Because here's my thought. So, and we have done this study on this. So we used to do things a little bit differently. The way TV works, so just so everybody get an idea, is you need to take, in about a 2-hour window, you need to take about 8 commercial breaks, okay? Between CBS and ESPN, the number of breaks that we need to take, it can sometimes vary, but in general, you're talking about 8 commercial breaks per 2 hours, or 4 per hour, okay? So if you think about what we can get in a 2-hour window, and you have to get those breaks in no matter what, right?
Do they have to be 8 separate breaks, or can you bundle them together?
They have to be 8 separate breaks. Okay. They have to be 8, I think it's 2.5-minute breaks, or something along those lines that you have to get together, right?
Okay.
I definitely can't do 4 breaks that are 4 minutes long.
Okay, that's what it was. Sure.
It has to be 8. So when you go with that baseline assumption, then you start thinking about where naturally you were placing things. So if you go back to what we used to do, okay, and we've had studies done on this, in that when we took our breaks, we would have to end up taking what we call a double break if you don't do it in between a match. And we had to do multiple of these double breaks within a single 2-hour broadcast. So what is a double break? It is, I get done with the match, I go to commercial break, I come back, I fill with a 2-minute, 3-minute dummy segment, right? Something that's just more information on cornhole. Here's our schedule. Here's a whatever. Then you go back to a break, okay? Then as we started to improve our broadcast, you start adding things, right? You start adding, Tony Smith is playing in game number 2. We throw in a feature. And so what happened was, what we found is, okay, you don't want to lead the star with your first game on the show, right? You want to lead it kind of with like your second star, because you want people to be enticed to stay for the second game, right? So what we found is, game number 1 concludes. You take a 3-minute break. There's 3 minutes. Then you come back, okay? You fill with 2 minutes of a dummy segment, 5, okay? Then you go back to break, 3, okay? Then you come back and show a 1-minute feature on Tony Smith, plus another minute of Welcome Black, whatever, boom. We have gone 10 minutes within a 2-hour show of no action in cornhole whatsoever. And so what we saw was our viewership was dropping. People were like, get to the point. What am I watching? What am I seeing? We saw the viewership numbers decline as we were taking these double breaks. So we said, what if we change that to when we get halfway through a game, okay, in certain instances, because really, if you notice, we don't do it for every game. That's because we don't need to do it for every game, because we only need 8 breaks in a 2-hour window, right? And so now you can start counting in your head, right? You're going to go, I know they're going to take one in this game because they're taking 3 and the hour's not here yet. So like they're going to take one more. So the idea is, if you look at it, it really just depends on the number of minutes in between action. So now we never, ever go more than 5 minutes in between action points and in between bags are thrown, to keep the downtime for viewers as minimal as possible.
Okay. I knew it had to be like something with the TV world. It's just, I feel bad. Like there is a true curse with it right now. I mean, it's crazy. Whoever has a momentum going in the timeout, every time they lose it, it's just crazy. It's like, all right, well.
Now, in the player's defense, there should be a push to maybe move this to like the professional soccer realm, where like it's just 45 minutes straight, and then you just give them 15 minutes of commercials. All right, like see if you guys could push for that, because at least they have the counter, like the countdown. So you just avoid all of it, and then you know they're going to be back, after 15 minutes. But for the player's sake, maybe just make a push for it. You never know.
We felt bad, and then one of our executive producers, who also does a lot of consulting for us, who's been in TV for years, and he goes, "Do you think Tom Brady complains about when they have to take a TV timeout with 2 minutes left in the game?"
Sometimes, but right? Yeah, I get it. But like he has no control.
Hey, but Tom Brady's not having to throw a cornhole bag with precision.
Correct. 27
down to the centimeter to be able to hit certain shots.
Very
okay.
True. Very true.
All right. Little different sports we're talking about.
You
here.
would pick Tom Brady, by the way, for that example.
It was actually the example you used. So I'm just being true to storytelling.
Fair enough. All right. So, okay. I wanted to get back to a term that you used. You said, so I'm assuming this all kind of goes with the mentality changed, right? You're talking about ACLs going through this mentality change, and you use the term grassroots, right? That is a very broad term. So to me, I understand that I take it to, like, obviously ACL is much larger, but when I was coaching at a program, right, we understood that to get better as a team and be able to compete at the national level and be good, we needed to step back and look at what other programs were doing. And one of the things that we didn't have some sort of like a feeder program. And we understood that we're never going to be like the best in the country year after year until we start growing, like in our terms, like the grassroots. Like we needed we need to start getting the kids in middle school and all that stuff, learning on what rugby was. And we need to start doing. So are you talking when grassroots, do you mean I think it was last year you said your role was switching more to like high school, college, like growing that aspect. So is that what you mean by grassroots, or do you mean like just the average player? Like I know there have been some changes at like the local director levels and stuff like that, but I just want to clarify.
So for us, it's our 5-year plan tells us that if we want to reach all of the goals that we want to do, right? Mm-hmm. If we want to be in, and I may have talked about this before, if I want to be in 50 countries, if I want to have $5 million in prize money, right? If I want to have, we did an estimate that 50 million people are playing cornhole worldwide right now. That was a study that we had done. And we don't have 50 million people playing ACL, right? We know that for a fact. So the idea is if we get if we want all of those things, we need more people playing in ACL events. Okay. So the job for us is changing into the idea that we shouldn't just say we are the best. Everybody come play us because we're awesome, and you should just love awesome things, right? Not a good sales strategy, right? There are ways that we can, and what I think we've done in the past is relied on creating the best top level of the game to entice people to want to get to that point. Decent job of doing that. Honestly, maybe I'm selling ourselves too short. We did a good job of that over the past few years. However, the key for us in the next stage of growth is getting more and more people just playing ACL at every single level. So you talked about it's at the high school level, right? But it's at a Tuesday night bar league. It's at all these different things, right? It's all of the amateur players across the globe. And so a number of those different things are leaning into things that we've already done, right? A player incentive program, literally incentivizing people that if you play an X number of ACL events, you are entitled to these type of rewards, right? It's the same thing with the director incentive programs, getting more people involved in there. But again, you guys get all the breaking news, right? So for us, the single most important thing, and this is not going to be a surprise to a lot of people, in order to become the best cornhole playing experience in the world is backboned by tech, right?
Yeah.
And so for us, the largest investment that we've made as an individual organization over the past number of years, rivaling what we've done with the international expansion and the investment we made there, is a new investment in technology. So for us, Stacy's been very adamant. He's had a lot of big changes and ideas and big ideas to take us to the next level. And one of these that the entire organization is behind is, for the first time ever, partnering with a third party outside of our current, staffing to support our current staffing and work together with our current staffing to completely rejuvenate, revitalize, and come out with a brand new technology platform. And that is meant to be as simple as can possibly be and have all the bells and whistles of what anybody would want when it comes to cornhole technology. So for us, it's an all-inclusive app, right?
Okay.
The ability to follow cornhole, play cornhole, run cornhole tournaments all in one central location. And, what we're using internally is buying a membership, finding a tournament, becoming a director. All of those things should be easier than buying a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Okay. And if our job is to become the best cornhole entity out there for people to want to keep playing and want to become ACL members and learn what that takes, then it's our job to provide the best product. It's not about just saying play it because it's awesome. It's about saying, here is a product that I can offer you that is going to make your life easier, right? Whether it's a director at a Tuesday night bar league, hey, utilize the ACL tech system in order to run tournaments and then get, you can get incentivized by, you selling memberships to the people that go to your bar. You're going to be incentivized to do that. You're going to get, a commission based on that. And we can provide you all this custom equipment by doing that and working on that full-fledged program. So for us, it's a massive overhaul because being able to be leaders in that front is something that's important for our next stage of growth. And we have to have that in order to really, make the ACL the thing that we need it to be, which is the worldwide governing body for professional, competitive, and recreational cornhole.
Do you feel like you guys
that's a big overtaking for us?
Do you feel like you guys are behind the 8 ball?
Do I feel like we're behind the 8 ball? I think it's too general of a term. I think there are things that we wish we were better at. Okay. I think there are things that we do excel at, and there are things that there are parts of our technology that are phenomenal, but there's parts of our technology that we have grown just so fast that we put too many Band-Aids on things that we need to do a full foundational overhaul.
Like, are you guys trying to basically combine like everything you guys are offering right now to one central location? Because to me, one of the things that drives me crazy is that I have to go to like 3 separate apps right now to figure out like, oh, am I playing? Oh no, I just want to go check out like this pro and how they can go to the ACL fan app and then not the player app, but it's not the, I mean, like it's just too much. And like,
exactly that. And that is, again, it's not so much, if we designed it from scratch, it's the idea of, not great, but at the same time, we look at it and how we grew. It was, well, we started with this and then we needed this. We added this and you add.
Yeah.
And now it's really about the instance of saying, okay, if we really want to be who we want to be, we do have to reel it all back in, hit a button and say, let's do this right from scratch and let's partner with somebody. So we aren't trying to do this all of ourselves, work with our dedicated team that have been busting their ass for years to put out what we've been proud of. Right. But now it's about taking that next stage of growth for us. So it's 100%. It's making sure that every different element of what you want with the ACL. You want to be able to follow the pros. You want to be able to play in a tournament. You want to be able to run a tournament. You want to be able to, buy a membership, buy a set of boards.
Does this include, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's going to come off as being a dick. Does this include like an updated website with like teams information and we're not waiting a month after the first signature for shit to be updated, like that kind of stuff? Is this like the grassroots effort we're making here? Like, is this what we're talking about?
100%.
Okay.
So, So for example, again, this is not, this just peels back a layer, right? When we first design our website, right? We design our website in a certain way to cater to our existing needs. Mm-hmm. 5 years down the road, we realize that a lot of people don't have access and have the ability to edit things because there's coding that has to be involved in things of that nature, right? It's not so much that when things were originally developed they were developed incorrectly or not properly. They were developed in a way, in the type of business that we had, in the stage of the business that we had to do certain things.
Yeah.
This was the first year where we finally said, because it takes putting people in the right position, right? And one of those best things ever was we hired a chief business officer in Alicia Mullen. She'll probably listen to this and get giddy that I'm giving her a shout out, but a core person within our business that has allowed us to take a step back and look at our business and evaluate our business, because for so many years it's just been go, do this. And we didn't take the time to take a step back and go, okay, what are the ways that we actually become the business and the model that we want to become long-term? We have to be able to step back and have, a corporation, a big business does those type of things on a regular basis. We're not a startup anymore. We have to start thinking like a big business. So when we brought her on, this is one of the things that we peeled back and said, we need to improve the way that we look at we look at our technology and the overall there. So going back to the website, yeah, we developed the website that certain way. We are giving 10 different department heads, 10 different people within the company starting a week and a half from now, the ability to edit every section of the website. I know that sounds crazy for some people to say, but it's something that we haven't had access to in a number of different years because we've gone in all these different directions. Now there's no excuse, right? Everything should be, fine and dandy and exactly how we want it to, because, we've taken the time to actually redesign and attack things just in a different way that, yes, it makes logical sense. And it's like, yeah, why the hell didn't you do that before? Well, yeah, because I was doing, 25 other things, and it just takes time.
I will give you guys credit, though. Just one thing.
Yeah.
If you guys have taken a lot of criticism, but you guys clearly listen, because you guys have always shown the willingness to adapt and try something else, if nothing else. Maybe what you guys tried didn't work, but at least you try, and at least it's not the same old just beating. You're just kind of stubborn. If you guys have shown the willingness to adapt with times and try to and go through, maybe maybe, albeit like I think sometimes we would have liked to be faster, but again, sometimes in the corporate world things just don't go that fast, and that's what we have to think of this as
sometimes.
A big corporation now. I'm sorry.
Sure.
What were you saying?
No, yeah, I just had one little question. So you kept saying you guys are partnering with somebody for this. So quick question on that: is there going to be a capability for at least maybe upload their results from a third party provider for scores and whatnot? With the new app?
I mean, at least not on initial launch, right? The idea is who we're partnering with is a tech firm. This is a big business tech firm that does apps for a living, and this is an undertaking.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
For us, and so it's meant to be. I'll put it this way: there's not going to be a need to do that, because I'm telling you, when it comes through, and I've seen some initial wireframes, and it looks. I mean, it's just there's not going to be a need to, right? It should be 3 clicks and you're out and you're off and running, and you're running tournaments, or you're playing in tournaments, or you're finding tournaments.
Now, for the record, Trey, that was just a question to lob it up to squash any speculations out there from maybe some other.
I pick up what you're putting.
I was just trying to just give you a softball real quick.
It's not Scoreholio. Let's just throw it out there. Let's just put it out there now. Let's just stop. Okay,
I was just, trying to make it as political as humanly possible if I could.
I think it's it'll be good. Do we have a soft goal launch plan at all? Is this 2026? Is this 2035? We might have lost him just for a second. So we're gonna fill in some time.
He might be frozen for a second.
I'll be interested when he jumps back in, but
I like his face frozen right now.
I like his polo.
Right? It's a great
Is that the
polo.
Masters polo on there?
Oh.
Did we just lose the internet?
No, I'm still rolling right now. I'm good.
What the heck happened?
It might have just booted him out. But we're still recording on our own computer right now. So, we're okay. I still have that audio.
I don't know what the heck happened. But anyways,
we'll see what happens
so first
with
of all,
this.
they're getting rid of Round Limited.
Dude,
how
about that?
I'm like, should I just go type on Patreon now? Just let people know.
Look at this.
That's big. That's big.
Look at this.
Recording in progress.
Here we go. We're right back in it.
I don't know what the heck's
I don't
going
know
on.
if Trey's here or not, but it's okay. Hey.
There we go. We're back.
There
we
it
go.
is.
There we go. I don't even know what we're about to say. I think I was going to try to. It was going to be a perfect transition. We were complimenting you on your polo when you're gone. So
Yes,
it
like
throws you-
perfectly appropriate
and first
for
of all,
the day.
it throws
like,
you in like a very like positive image. Like it was a very,
did.
it was a nice shot of you. It
Yeah.
really was. Like it was very
Good.
flattering.
All right,
so
I'll take it. Yeah,
it was
no,
very
sorry.
nice.
I told you. I at least I was upfront about it. So
No, we couldn't tell on whose end it was.
Well, luckily we record on like 3 different
So we're not
versions,
losing this
so,
shit
like,
anymore.
Like our audio is just continuous no matter what. So
We've come a long way. The first
Love
time you were ever on, I had you on. We weren't even on video at that point.
Yeah.
I just had you on my speakerphone, holding up to a microphone, and that's how we were
Oh, I
capturing
love
it. Yeah,
that.
that was a
That
long
is
time
amazing.
ago. So we've upgraded over time.
Hey, it was
so.
on a stand.
It was
okay,
on a
you didn't have
stand.
to physically
That's true.
hold it.
Yes,
okay,
it's true. I was not going through the physical tremors and stuff. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit back to Signature One, and let's talk about you threw it out there. So I'm not gonna say it. I didn't do it. You threw out there the possible greatest team of all time, Smith and Richards. Now, I do want to go on record and say they have won 1 signature and 3 opens. We got to get off this 4-peat shit. They've not won 4 in a row because opens are not signatures, all right? You got to give credit to KB and, you know what I mean?
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
not
Grindersleeve.
belittle
Like, let's show 'em a little
KB and
respect here.
Grindersleeve's
I
run.
think that Smith and Richards, it's just like it's going to be hard to beat them. Like, I think they probably beat the second best team already. And I know it's round limited and anything can happen, but they're going to be a tough out, man. Like, I just don't see them lose. Like, it's really tough to envision them losing. It really is.
You have to have 2 guys on their absolute best days to beat them.
Because I think Mark Richards
just
might
good
be the
days.
best arm outside thrower in the country. It's unbelievable.
I don't necessarily disagree. I
Yeah.
think personally that they have passed Matt and Jamie's best year already.
Okay.
Now, I'm not ready to crown them better than KB, and I would argue that Worlds is worth 3 signatures.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, Worlds is a big deal,
It is.
right? And so we're still very early, but at the same time, like you look at Matt and Jamie's best season, won 2 of the 4. Right? Could you argue 3 opens equivalent to 1 national signature? To me, I think it's pretty close. I mean, so I think they're getting ready to pass them. Certainly, if they win 1 more,
Yeah.
we're past that point. So, I think they're. I'm not ready to give them that crown just yet. That's way too early, and that doesn't respect what KB and Eddie were able to do those years ago. But for now, enjoy the ride, right?
Oh, for sure.
And just enjoy what we're seeing from this team because they are the best word that I can think of is complimentary, right? I don't look at them at any point and go, that guy right there is the best in the world. That guy's the best in the world. There are times when one is better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite stat I put on Around the ACL this week was that Tony Smith threw a negative DPR in the Final 4.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
Didn't matter.
if you watch
He
those
just
matches,
held up his
it was
end just enough to
Mark
let
Richards
Mark Richards do
showed
his
that
thing.
he's the best player in the country. Like
Yeah.
to me, it was like a Mark Richards versus Jamie Graham match. They just happened to not be throwing bags against each other. Really, like kind of what it came down to in that finals.
Yeah, it was. And what's funny is that like Mark Richards is built for that broadcast because he is so much better mentally that like when you need to beat Mark, you need to beat him when he almost forgets to focus. Like on the broadcast, he ain't forgetting to focus.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you beat Mark on the broadcast court, it's because you were phenomenal. Right.
Yeah.
So but in a way, it's almost kind of opposite for Tony. Like Tony is so subconsciously like just unbelievable that sometimes if you get him out of that zone, you get him a little bit nervous. He might miss a little bit right or something, something happens to get his mind in a tizzy, right? And that's why I think they play so well complementary, right? Because they'll get in a second round game and Tony will throw an 11-5 and Mark will throw a 9-8 and they'll win and they'll squeak by, right? But then when they get to the bracket final, Mark is locked in throwing an 11-2 and it doesn't matter what Tony does because Mark is just pulverizing people.
Yeah.
So the problem is whichever way you want to attack their weakness, it doesn't work. If you get them on slow boards, then Tony is just going to cook and Mark is just going to play a defensive enough game to be okay. You get him on fast boards like on TV, Mark doesn't miss a bag. He's not missing. It doesn't matter what Tony's doing. So they just don't have a weakness as a team, right? You may be able to target them as individuals in certain situations, but they are playing such complimentary cornhole right now.
Well, I think everyone's best opportunity was this first signature event being round limited.
Yeah.
Maybe Tony gives up 5 first round and they just can't do enough to get back into the match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, like Mark hit every shot, and if he consistently throws that roll bag, it's going to be a problem too.
I think no pro,
disgusting.
like none of the top pros can be happier the round limit is going away than Mark Richards.
Yeah,
I mean, like beat that guy.
He
21,
loves
you know what I mean?
longevity.
Just,
sure.
Yeah, he'll grind it. He loves it. He's like one of those sick guys that just like.
But my question is, does he maybe not throw that roll bag as often in round, like if it's not round limited?
I don't think. I don't think. I just think he's
very tactical when he throws it, but
yeah.
He's so good at it now.
No, I just think
like,
it
was only a matter of time. But
round limited format has always kind of been his Achilles heel a little bit. You know what I mean? If we put him to 21, is like, I mean, you put count on one hand on the number of guys that have actually beaten him.
That's true.
So, what do you think? What do you think of the partnership with Graham and Trzynski? Because I thought it was interesting. Like, because clearly Graham was not thrilled that they lost that match. You know what I mean? And I felt a little bit bad for Trzynski a little bit because Jacob's really good, and I think every year he's been a pro, he's gotten better. But playing with Jamie's not easy.
It's not. You know what's so funny is I remember sitting in the broadcast booth, and Jacob Trzynski had the foot foul, and you could tell he was just going. He was getting ready to just go off the deep end, and I was like, "This is Jamie Graham, like mentoring Trevor Brooks." It was like Jamie had been built for that moment, and he's used to working in that situation. Now, the good news is that Trzynski has shown an evolution in order to get past a moment like that. You just have to be able to play with Trzynski because Trzynski is a true athlete.
Yes.
And if people have been a part of athletic backgrounds and athletic teams, you know that when you're on that field, it's nasty and it's gross and it's especially on a football field.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the things that people say to each other and want to punch each other in the throat. It's like, it's crazy. And then the game gets over and it's, shake hands, blah, blah, blah. We're moving on type of thing. Yep. So I think Graham, as long as he is able to get over that and be able to recognize that that's how Trzynski is going to be, he does have and has shown that he can actually be level-headed when he needs to be. Mm-hmm. Now, Trzynski is, I give all the Trzynski credit. I compliment him like he's made these big strides. He's not still all the way there yet, right? There's still a little bit more of that mental focus, right? When I saw him win an Open this season, I thought he was there. But then when he faced some adversity at the first signature, I thought he didn't handle it probably like I kind of expected him to if he had really made that big jump, but he's getting close. And so I do think that I think Graham kind of likes it. I know he can put off that he doesn't, but think about it. He played with Frank Modlin, and they didn't play that well together, right? And that could be for a number of different things, but Modlin's the furthest from that.
That's
right?
like going to church.
Right. Look at Matt Guy. He gets intense. Yeah. He gets fired up. He gets a little nasty. Yeah. Right. He can get nasty.
I feel like that relationship changed the longer they played together, because when they first played, it was very apparent that like Jamie was like, I'm just thrilled to be thrown back to Matt Guy. Like, we're good. Like, I know I'm good, but like Matt's A1. And then that second year, it's like, whoa, dude, like fucking hit the airmail already. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't play dumb. I mean, like the relationship changed.
But that they were better in year 2.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So I think Jamie is starting to kind of like playing alongside these guys that have these fiery attitudes I think it just suits the way he likes to play, because I think him being the one to calm somebody else down almost gets him in the right zone. Right. So if I see Trzynski over there, it's like, Jacob, I got it. Okay. We're going to get there. He almost puts like a good type of pressure on himself to succeed.
Oh yeah.
And then he does succeed. And then it keeps building on with that. We saw it with Trevor. We saw it with Jacob. We saw it with now, we saw it with Matt. Like he's showing consistency that's the way that Jamie likes to play. So I actually like the team. I think it's good dynamic, and Jacob has to play with someone that is equivalent or better than him, because if Trzynski is playing with someone that is not as good as him, I think that's one of those situations where he's just not able to focus as much. He gets too disappointed and too frustrated.
How about Trevor Brooks getting like 2 shout outs, like for like normal stuff?
I like that
for reasons for a change on this show. How about that? Like, Like, I'm just gonna let that go. We'll talk about that.
I'm sure we'll bring that up on our normal episode. All right.
How about that?
I hate doing that. It was just for the sake of the comparison.
I know. As soon as you said, I'm like, I have to. All right, so I'm going to put you in a scenario, right? All right, we have 2 players. They're playing for the singles championship. All right, who wins? Like, who just like struggles with nerves less? Gavin Cano, Devin Harbaugh.
I'll take Cano right now.
Me too. And I've always compared Cano to Harbaugh because like we all know how fucking good they are. Like they're 2 of the top, like in talent wise and throwing a bag in a hole. I mean, I would argue both of them are in the top 10. They're both very, very good. They just cannot win the big thing. Like they just can't get over. Like they're really good at taking second. Like love taking second or third. Like they're really good. They just can't get over the hump. But I think Gavin, if he wins 1, then it's like we finally have someone else to finally look at, and maybe he can start rolling a little bit. But it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, Cano feels close, really close. Harbaugh has taken a little bit of a step back, and he'll be back. It's just one of those natural ebbs and flows of his career. He's just going through a little bit of technique back and forth right now. But Cano, he's playing. I actually went back and looked at some statistics in some of the games. Like he's not playing bad enough for me to say he's choking.
No,
right?
No.
It's like, is he playing the best of his ability? No, but that's kind of bad to expect that someone's going to play their best in the finals of an event, right? Especially one on that broadcast court. So it's like, I almost just keep saying to myself, odds tell me he's going to win one of these shortly because he's not playing bad. Fair
enough. All right. So Dane and I, this is completely off the wall. Dane and I, a few weeks ago, we went to Disney World.
We did.
Right. We had probably, and I think you'll appreciate this. We had probably like the best Disney day ever. Like it was an adult day. Right. So we went to Epcot and we were there all day. And it was one of those, we did not wait more than 25 minutes for any ride we went on all day. And it was just one of those rides. Like we went over to like Remy, right? Or Ratatouille, right?
Yeah.
We went over there and it was broken, but then they just opened it up. They're like, oh, it's just opening up. No line. Oh my God, it was just the best thing ever. So if you're going to Epcot, where's your, like, where are you eating at?
Okay, well, it depends if it's an eating day or if it's a drinking day. So
we'll start with food first.
We combined a full day.
We did full.
Right. The thing is, for me, this is just how I'm wired.
Yeah.
If it's a drinking day, it's also not an eating day for me.
I tend to be the same way. Correct.
Yeah, being a bigger guy, like if I tend to eat a lot, I have to drink that much more in order to,
Correct.
So I like to separate them, right?
Yeah,
so,
I get it.
I always call them, and oh my gosh, I get judged so hard for this, but one of my favorite things about Disney is my wife and I call them tipsy tenders. My favorite things to do is to drink all day, and then you get chicken tenders at the hotel quick service when you've had way too much to drink and you're sitting in your hotel bed just crushing chicken tenders and barbecue
and
sauce.
At that time, there's nothing that tastes better in the world. You know what I mean?
There's nothing in the world. You could put a steak in front of me, or you could put chicken tenders where I've had that. So, anyway, Epcot is always, for drinks, you have to start in Mexico, because if you end your day with tequila, then you are a freak. So I have to start in.
We did that wrong.
We started in Canada. That's the problem.
Yeah, I go to La Cava. So La Cava is inside the pyramid.
What did you get?
Avocado margarita.
Okay, so I got that the last time I was there. This time, I wanted something a little spicy. Yeah. So I wanted one of the spicy.
There's a good spicy one in there too. Then I go to, so next in line you have Norway. So I get my frozen Viking coffee, which is one of my favorites.
Look at that.
Told you.
It's,
Yep. I think actually
that
you
one's really
recommended
good.
that the last time me and my wife went. I was asking people for recommendations for the drinks, and I think you dropped that one. So I'm like,
Yep,
oh, well, we gotta
Mikey
try this
Coffee is
one.
one of my
Yeah, for
favorite.
sure.
If I'm really trying to have a good day, then I'll stop in China, which is the next one. But usually I kind of skip it. I do like the Kung Fu Punch when they are serving it, depending on the
I got
the festival. It might not be the right festival right now, but
Okay.
the Kung Fu Punch, it's fruity and delicious, so
Very
I get
good.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I keep going, depending on how long the line is in. Well, no, they have Germany. So
Yeah.
Germany, if I'm feeling a beer, I'll get one, but usually the line is really long,
Yeah.
and it's like by that time I'm already I want to keep going through liquor, so I kind of skip that one. And usually
You don't
have a
go for
drink in
that
my hand by then.
grapefruit like deliciousness in Germany, like that.
Yes.
Dude, that thing, that is the shit.
like candy.
I made Sean stop and get one too.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, we just got to get one of these. It's only like 4%.
It was like,
it's just a sweet
that's
little
what it was.
kiss.
It's like we had just crushed a margarita.
Yeah.
I went from margarita, Smittix, and then somehow we ended up in Germany. And I was getting another one. My wife's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'll be fine.
Yeah,
This is only
total,
4%."
I'm like, this is basically water.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
you're
only
fine.
4%.
This one will
So then
calm it
after
down.
that, I get my sometimes depending on the line in Italy, I'll get the Italian margarita,
Yes.
which is a limoncello margarita, which is
phenomenal.
delicious. Then one of the best drinks in all of
Say it.
Epcot in America is the
Oh.
Moonshine Sour.
Oh, yes.
I didn't get
had
this
one of
time,
those.
but yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Loved it.
One of my favorite drinks there. You come out of there. Also, one of my favorite drinks in all of Disney. As soon as you get out of America, now you can see where it's going with the night here.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I hit the violet sake, which is
Ooh.
one of my all-time favorite drinks. It's very lavender forward, so if you don't like floral drinks, you won't like it. But it is
My wife would love it.
so good, so good. Then when you come out of there, I usually skip Morocco because there's
Yeah.
not any place that I love.
It's a little
there.
sketchy in
And
that
then
area.
Yep.
I go last drink in the park. I get the frozen citron drink from
Oh yeah, France. Oh yeah.
And then here's the secret. Okay, so I'll let you in on a secret for
All right.
those that love Disney and those that love this particular drink.
Insider
okay?
trading.
If you leave the park and go out that exit and go to the boardwalk and you walk in the boardwalk, it's a very short walk inside the lounge of the Boardwalk Hotel. It's right past Flying Fish. You walk right in there. You can sit at the bar. There is an off-menu drink that has been designed by that bartender that I believe is the perfect nightcap if you are a fan like I am of espresso martinis.
Ooh.
And it is a banana bread espresso martini, and it is probably my favorite drink in all of Disney besides the key lime pie martini, which is at Narcoossee's at the Grand Floridian. So you can end your Epcot day with a nice little nightcap
right.
banana bread espresso martini, and it'll change your life.
I get down
Look
with
at
that. I can get down with that for sure.
I'm more of like, I'll just keep drinking beer until I
Now,
pass
if you had
out.
to pick one country to eat at, where you only have time to go to one country to eat, what country are you picking?
Mm,
I know.
to eat.
Yes, to eat. I'll give you
Man,
two.
if
I'll give
there's-
you two. I'll give you meal and dessert. So if you want to go two different ones, like if there's a dessert you love in a different country, I'll give you two.
Okay, so if there's not a festival going on, or I'm not looking
Correct.
at a specific festival
Correct.
booth, it might be Mexico
Okay.
with a sleeper of Morocco.
Okay.
Morocco
I've
is
heard
Moroccan
Morocco
food's
is
bomb.
awesome. I've heard.
sleeper food. We really like Spice Road Table, which is that little quick service restaurant there.
See, that's the problem is you use the first
word.
word spice like that. My wife's afraid of that, so
Sean's already
that's why
running.
I haven't eaten there. So
He's already heading to the bathroom.
Is good. I avoid France. France food is meh.
Oh, what? Oh, see,
Yeah,
that's where I'm going. I'm going French.
Sean just
Going
wants a
French.
ham and cheese sandwich.
It's just the freshness
Unless we're
of
talking about the
everything.
ice cream sandwiches, then I will say the ice cream sandwiches are a different story.
Okay.
I do like Japan's food as well. So
I will say, I know it's like faux pas a little bit, but like in Italy, it's actually not a bad Italian restaurant. We've eaten there before.
yes, as long as you don't go to the food booth for the
No. You got to go
festivals,
sit down in the restaurant. The restaurant
go
itself is
in
pretty good.
yes. Yes, because the Italy booth for the festivals is atrocious.
Correct.
It's except for the drinks, or if you're a wine.
We were there
person,
for
which
was it the garden festival,
Yeah.
like the flower and garden
Flower and
festival?
Garden. Yeah, it's going on right now.
So there was a bunch of pop up food. So like we got like some seafood boil the one time. It was good.
That was
pretty
actually
good.
that was bomb. I don't sleep on the poutine in Canada either. That
True.
bomb.
I will never.
You did
I
crush
will-
that. Yeah, I was gonna say
So
that's
good.
all you wanted though. Like I will say that.
Yes.
Like you've
It
been
was
talking
so
about that for
good.
like a month.
I love a good poutine, and I knew that they would knock it out of the park there, and they did.
Right next to that, right now, they did you get the peanut butter and jelly soft serve ice cream?
No, I
That's
saw
one
the
of my-
sign for that.
Yeah, we
I
saw it
that,
though.
but
We
no.
did not get it. I'm not much
That's
of an
right
ice
next
cream
to
guy.
it.
Yeah,
though.
if I'm
Again,
drinking, I
if
can't
I'm
do ice
drinking, I'm
cream.
not a dessert guy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, no,
that's
I
my
get that.
trade
I
off.
get-
I used
Totally.
food as a way to kind of sober me up, just to keep my buzz going. Because like we
Yes.
didn't have to drive or anything. It was great.
No, there were
Like,
several times that I just stopped, and Amy's like, "Why are you getting more food?" I'm like, "Cause I've been
Yeah.
drinking for
like do you
fucking
under
12
exactly.
hours."
Do you
Like,
understand how
alright,
much
like,
we've like consumed? And
I'm
then we're
just-
still going on rides and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I'm like,
idiots.
I'm just trying to maintain here, right?
I will say, Guardians of the Galaxy is phenomenal. Like one
Best
of the.
ride in the world.
Yeah, it really
Dude,
is. Like
It made my wife throw up.
Oh,
She's
dude.
never thrown up on a ride in her life. That one made her. On the drive home, though, it was
You know
like
what?
20 minutes
I'd do
after
it
the
still.
fact.
If it made me throw up, I'd still ride.
Yeah,
It's still the best
100%.
ride in
And
the
she
world.
actually said the same thing. She's like, that was actually bomb. So I would go back on. I'm like, yeah, I know, because that thing threw me through a loop, and I've never had that happen before. So I was
just a huge loser.
pleasantly
We
surprised.
went
man.
to
That was awesome.
Hollywood Studios, and we got Dane had not been on Smuggler's Run yet. I was just happy that we followed the directions. We got the Chewbacca voice
Yes.
throughout it, which is pretty
Oh,
awesome.
You did Chewbacca
We
mode.
did,
Yeah.
we did, yeah,
Yeah,
just
it
a
was
little
funny.
cheat mode kind of
Yeah,
thing. So
that
I'm
was
like,
cool.
I'm like looking up the direction. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this, guys.
for the
so everyone pay
record,
attention.
Smuggler's fun, but Rise
all
is 100%
Yeah.
the ride.
Oh, Rise is
That's the one.
another. It's not something that like I almost wish I could go back and ride it for the first time. But I
Yeah,
love
that's true.
taking
Yeah, that's true.
people- I love taking people on that ride for the first
They're-
time.
Yes.
'cause
the fuck?
Dude, I am such a nerd. The first time that I went on that ride, like literally I walked into the huge sea of stormtroopers, and like I had to choke back tears. Like it was in the middle of COVID. So there was only 3 other people on the fucking ride with me at the time, because we had to stay 6 feet apart. And I walked out there and I was just like, oh, I made it. Like I finally, I sat there. They
it takes
like,
your breath away.
they
It really
pushed
does.
me
You're
out
like,
because I was sitting there taking selfies with all of them. They're like, you have to go. I'm like, but there's 3 people here. All right.
What do
Like,
you,
let me get my moment. Jesus
what do you
Christ.
what do you get to drink at the cantina? I'm sure you frequent there when you're there.
Oga's.
Yeah.
Oga's Cantina. I get my favorite is the tauntaun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuzzy
Like that.
tauntaun.
Fuzzy
man.
tauntaun was
Yeah,
good.
the fuzzy tauntaun.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah,
good. Oh
love it.
yeah,
Very
so good.
similar.
So is the starter.
And if anybody's listening, like if you've ever been to the Cosmo in Las Vegas, there is a bar that sells a drink where they give you a flower and you're supposed to take the flower, chew it, swallow it, and then drink the drink, and it has the same sensation where it like lights your mouth up.
Oh, it's so
and
much
it's
fun.
like
That's
this
awesome.
weird tingling
Oh yeah,
sensation.
it's the
pretty
best.
cool.
Yeah, we basically closed. We did close.
Oh,
the
we
park down.
closed.
We
were the last people out of Disney
Yeah.
when we went to Hollywood Studios. I mean, we were the last ones.
because
out
we
of that
found out
park.
if you just keep ordering drinks, they don't make
Yeah.
you leave.
We just
Like-
we just hung out, and they made an announcement right before our reservation. It was at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
and they're like, "Hey, like we're gonna do a second show because there's enough people at the park, so they had like a second like fireworks show." And they're like, "Yeah, you guys can stick around." So we ended up just hanging out there for like 2 hours.
Oh, it's great.
We're walking out, and like it's the whole like crew's ushering us out, like with their hands like open like this, just as we headed out.
Love it.
We're like,
That's
guys, we're enjoying the moment. Like, please let us live this.
All right. Well, all this
Is
has
it time
been
now?
this has all
Just
been
build
leading up
up.
to like this big moment, right?
Man.
So we kicked off this new like draft segment. We're the name of it's a work in progress. We got to talk about that.
I mean, it's just a big ass draft.
Okay, something like that.
And
so we
it works actually.
There
so
you
we
go.
started the first draft was Caitlin. We did greatest athletes. With Trey, we were like, we got to come up with something fun, unique. We're like, listen, he's a Disney guy, so we got to stick
Perfect.
with this theme. So we're gonna go with Disney Villans. All right, so we're gonna draft 5, because we're just starting this off and people haven't had an opportunity to vote beforehand. We don't know who's winning, right? So it's gonna be me, and then Dane, and then guests are gonna have a winning column. So because you're one of the first, we're gonna let you have the first overall draft pick. All right, it's gonna be a
Love
snake
it.
draft.
Good.
Yep.
So you have first
there's-
overall. Go ahead.
This is the easiest 101 of all time. And if anybody had any other Disney villain 101, I don't care if it's an opinion, the opinion is wrong.
Okay.
And so best Disney villain of all time, not close, Darth Vader.
Yes.
Not close. Easy.
I'm so happy that, because I would have been thrown off big time if we didn't talk about this before we started recording. That I want to get clarification if we're including Marvel and Star Wars, because I wasn't thinking about that when I made my initial list. And then I'm like, oh shit, no, of course. So like, why wouldn't we include that? So obviously I think Darth Vader is the right choice there. I'm going to go, because now he's off this board, I'm going to go with all old school. I think I have to. I'm going to start off with Scar from Lion King. I think he's an iconic villain character. Everyone kind of knows who played him. So I'm going to start off with Scar.
That's a good pick, man. That was honestly who I was looking at. Yeah, I mean it is tough because we're talking Disney, so you can throw in like the whole Marvel universe too.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not put a person up there that clicked his fingers.
It was my other decision.
Dismissed half of humanity, so I'm gonna go Thanos with this next one.
I mean, it makes sense. I made it easy on you.
Yeah,
I dropped out for a second with my internet again. Sean, who did you take?
I went with Scar. I'm gonna go all old school. I think because once you go Darth Vader, Darth Vader is the clear number one. I was gonna go Thanos, but I don't know. I just feel like my team would be too discombobulated. So we'll see how I can put together. I like my chances.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't bad. But it wasn't Thanos.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Thanos with my first. And then, I feel like I'm kind of like, I'm going to stick with who I think was most fearful in my childhood. And I'm going to go with Jafar.
That's a good one.
As my next one.
I like that one.
Because I think he was pretty freaky when I was growing up. So I'm just going to stick with Jafar. All right, Sean.
I'm going to go another personal favorite. I don't think this movie itself gets enough love. I think not only is the movie great, I think the actors in the movie are great. I think
terrible. You have to go this much into it.
The soundtrack is underrated. I'm going to go Hades.
Okay. All right.
That was my next pick.
Right? I mean, just an iconic
one,
James Wood, just plays it so good. I mean, it's just iconic character. I feel like he's recognizable.
It's a good one.
Again, I don't think it gets nearly enough love at all. Like it gets zero love at Disney World, which is fucking bullshit. It's just forgotten about movie.
Yeah.
So that's my platform.
I'm trying to go with villains that really made you feel things.
Okay. I'm very happy that you had him at number 2. So I feel like all right, we'll be good.
You got
I had a perfect turn going.
All right.
I had to adjust here.
All right. So way to make a pivot, Sean. Right. Nice. All right. So you got back to backs.
Next up, just iconic. Just fear mongering, and also powerful, and just a badass, Ursula.
Yep,
literally next on my list. Yeah,
yep. So Ursula is my second. This is kind of where I start going a little bit pivoting from the traditional list, and this one's maybe not high on everybody's. Maybe it is. I don't know. Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm going Oogie Boogie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I feel like I like him.
He's on my list.
Is that movie popular enough? I agree, but is it popular enough? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
But again, I picked Hades, right? So who the fuck's
very true.
I'm afraid that Dane might steal. I'm going to take a chance here. All right,
take a chance on me.
All right, I'm going to go with one that I think that Dane might steal if it's still there. So I'm going to go with a classic. It's an older movie, but they've even made remakes of it. So the name itself kind of just rings Cruella de Vil.
True.
Cruella, yep.
Cruella.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I mean, the fact that she's going to murder dogs too just puts her pretty high on a list of terrible people.
Very much.
Yeah, I mean,
shit ton of hatred.
Darth Vader just wanted to kill his son, but Cruella wanted to murder some innocent puppies. I mean, let's be serious. I mean, we're talking about pure evil.
All right, so another one that really made all Disney fans feel a lot, and I'm going to go with Lotso from Toy Story 3.
I knew you were
literally made everyone feel like your entire fandom of that thing was done. Brought tears to my eyes. So yeah, he was a little freaky for me, and man, Next one up. There's a lot of big names still left out there. This is hard. I only got one left.
We got one after this.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like one after this one.
So you still have two.
I know, but it's
Or
still
you're
tough.
making it sound like you only
All
have
right.
to pick one. Like pick
Give
one of
me-
the two that you have.
Give me a tried and true. I'm gonna go with Captain Hook.
Okay.
All right. I think it's another
It's all right.
fan favorite. Again, kind of transcends maybe Disney a little bit. So
It does
I'm
a
okay
little
with
bit.
it.
Yeah, I will agree with that one. This one I'm going to go a little bit off the wall. There's a few classic characters that I still feel like I can pick. It's maybe it's a little outside. I don't know if he would have made anyone else's list. I'm going with Sid from Toy Story
Dude,
1.
Great one. Yeah.
Right? I thought that's who you might steal, but I was hoping it was going to sneak by. But I'm going Sid. Like, there's just something about the bald head. Like, we all knew that kid growing up. Like, who was our kid name?
Oh, David Whiteside.
Right. I mean, we all had that kid next door neighbor that was like a fucking freak. We were all a little afraid of, but we were
Like,
nice to
he
him.
might
because-
kill our cat.
Yeah, correct.
If he wasn't an indoor cat.
Correct. So
We're
yeah,
gonna
correct. We
worry
made
about
sure.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So I just feel like Sid, like growing up, I'm like, oh man, I just identified very well with him. So
I like
not personally, but like I knew other people.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right, yeah. Way to close it out. Trey, speaking of closing it out, you got two back to back
I
to
got
finish
two
it
to
up.
close it. All right. So this one special place in my heart for me.
Okay.
Because I grew up and I loved the video game Kingdom Hearts.
Fuck yeah, man.
100%.
Dude, how were we not
So-
best friends?
Exactly.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Seriously.
So Kingdom Hearts, I remember playing with my best friend James when we were kids, and we could never
Who was it?
beat the damn Maleficent at
Maleficent.
the end of the
Yep.
game. And so we
That
came
bitch.
back at the end. We came back years later and said, we are going to buy this game and beat Maleficent. And we were like 17 at the time, right? So this game is 10 years old at this point. We bought it. We beat it. So I got to go with Maleficent because she haunted my dreams
For sure.
in video games
For
as
sure.
a child.
I mean,
like
there's
that
an
pick.
argument that she should have probably been already
No,
selected.
I mean, honestly, she's
Right,
arguably
I mean-
the most prolific Disney villain
correct.
in the Disney
Yeah, can't argue with it.
fandom, but
All right,
It's
so that
okay.
brings me to my last one. This one is so niche and I don't care, but this person is the worst character ever.
Ooh.
I like
the
it.
damn abuela from Encanto that was just hating on everything that's going on in the entire movie. Just
For sure.
get her out. I don't even know
Yes.
what her name is, but
Negative
I
Nancy.
wanted my fifth pick to just be outlandish, so I'm taking the abuela from
Yeah.
Encanto.
Yeah,
I
she's
like
negative
that.
Nancy.
Yeah,
Like,
she really is.
you have a
Like,
sweet granddaughter. She just wants your approval.
What are
and
you
you're just
bringing to the
shitting all
table?
over every
All
single
right.
time.
Terrible.
Good soundtrack though.
Hey, great
Yes,
soundtrack.
yes.
That's the other one we gotta do. We gotta do like movie soundtracks. Like,
Oh, hey, just jot it down. Write it.
write it down. Okay. So the last one, what do I want to go with? I feel like if my wife were to listen to this, she'd get very mad at me if I didn't put. All right, so I'm gonna go with Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
He was my
Classic. I mean, I
If he
even
was
have a
left,
Gaston
I was going
t-shirt.
with
Yeah,
him.
so I'm
That's
gonna go
for
with
sure.
Gaston.
I mean, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right, so now I feel like I get to go with like my heart. This one, because if Gaston was there, I had to take him.
Okay,
But,
that's kind of how I felt.
now I get to go with somebody that is near and dear, and it's one of my favorite Disney movies. But I'm gonna go with Chef Skinner from Ratatouille.
Okay,
All right,
it's very
I'm just,
okay. All right.
I know it's niche, but I
Yeah,
love that
yeah,
movie,
for sure,
and
I
I
get
think
that.
I think he's a good villain.
So I'm planning
we'll
on-
put him in.
On social media, I'll put the graphics so like, people can actually see the face because I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes like
They,
it
they
just
would
gets-
have no idea who that is.
whitewashed
But
kind
you
of
know,
thing,
I'm gonna choose one with my heart. All right. I took a cop out with Captain Hook because again, I feel like he's a little beyond Disney alone because Robin Williams had the best version of Peter Pan of all time. So
Yep.
you know.
Are you guys gearing up for like my least favorite bag season, like time of the year? It's tacky 420 bags.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's tacky 420 bag season.
Hey,
Like nothing. My timeline's gonna be flooded by nothing but like pot leaves. It's like it's not 1990 anymore. Like, can we grow the fuck up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop. Like, I know it's a
I
marketing
can tell
ploy,
you,
but
Josh
like,
Keck is probably loving it because that's
oh,
he's
all
the-
designs just
the
flooded in
licensing
there.
with us who gets all the designs.
God, just like I don't know why. I just was scrolling through. That's one of
I
the
know,
notes I
but
had
like
for our
honestly,
episode.
I don't get the whole thing. Like it's basically legal. Like
I mean,
a lot of places now, so it's not as niche anymore. Like just
I guess.
Act like you've been there before. I don't know. It's like when you hit a home run, no need for the bat flip. You've done it before. All right. Just fucking run your bases.
So me personally, I believe that we can do as many designs and people can buy as many ACL bags as they want to. So I will approve any of it.
I'm just asking for a little creativity here.
Just
folks,
and
all
that's perfect segue into we're gonna be dropping the big Ask 420 bags on Thursday.
And yes, those bloodshot eyes are unique. Okay, thank you.
That's all we changed the logo.
Make it like little red dots and a
subtle.
little bit. There you go. Done.
So what's rest of the year? Anything else we need to know about? So obviously you said like recap here. Round limit is going away next year. Big deal.
Yep. Tech is a big focus for us. That'll probably, we're really working through all of the rest of this year just to launch our 5-year plan, which kind of is launching for us at the very beginning of 2026. So it's about laying those foundations. So just and trying to simplify in some areas and adjust in some other areas. So for us, it's we really want to make the most of these big world championships coming up here in Rock Hill again. And then, look forward to, and the last thing I'll say is, a big tweak in the approach for us around events is, we're getting even further ahead of time this time. I know we said it last year, we were a little bit better than we were the year before, but this year getting a full event schedule out, by the world championships for the entire season, start to finish. I know
That would be phenomenal. Yeah, that'd be very nice. Yeah, because then we can make it to one.
Yeah.
Great. Because awesome. Again, it's about focusing on the part of our game that matters most, and that's getting people out to these.
Yeah,
events.
for sure. No, it is.
How do we make it easier for that to happen for people, and making sure that we're the best regionally diverse event schedule as well, right? I know. There's certain parts of the country that we haven't gotten to before. There's also certain parts of the country that have consistently shown good attendance. And so it's about rewarding those areas that have had really good attendance and also exploring new areas across the country or ones that we haven't been to in a number of different years. So that's another big focus as we look forward to next year too. This is the most long-term thinking that we've ever had as part of our organization. Which is great. We want to continue to build on what we have, but I'm just really excited for the future. This is the most excited, you're always going to get somewhat, I don't know, political speech from me just because of where I am within the company.
Yeah, of course.
But I can genuinely say that this is the most excited about the long-term vision of what we're doing for a league that kind of is different than what we've done in the past, more so than I've ever been before. So really
the only thing I had written down that we didn't get, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about? Obviously, the big change this year going into the season was a teams format, right? So the change in is no longer just doubles rolling out there, best of 7, have fun, enjoy. What did you think about the format? And I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah. A lot better. Still trying to figure out what the best method for this teams is. And the good news is we can still continue to experiment with teams over the next couple of years, but we definitely got closer this year. As someone in the booth that has called those games last year, like even I was like, okay, game doubles number 7, unless we're talking about 7-game series, it's a lot. It gets dense. This brought some, we had a regular season game in which we had probably our best energy of the weekend. That was teams, right? Cash Chamness versus Alex Rawls. Yes. Is there a lot of that built into Cash being 9? Sure. But at the same time, we saw glimpses of what it could be. And also, shout out to the events team. I have to say, I know you guys weren't necessarily there, or you guys weren't there and not everybody was there, but like there's actually been a big difference in the staging and the setting of the broadcast.
We did hear positive things about that, about people were able to see the courts easier because you guys built something in like raised platforms or something, as I understand it.
So adding a new deck, and that deck, again, going back to trying to get people to want to become members of the ACL. One of our decks that you can see both live stream courts and the broadcast court only open to platinum and diamond ACL members, right? Okay. So that's something that we've introduced. So, people don't have to buy a broadcast ticket to go see it. They can just be rewarded based on, that's just giving rewards to people that are loyal to the ACL in that regard. So, something like that, we're tweaking what that decking looks like. The idea of trying to put it closer to all the action, having the court surround the broadcast court, getting more shots of people playing. And also the big difference is no more, if the best we can help it, no more 8 or 9 p.m. broadcast times.
Yeah.
When everybody has been, they get in the building, they've been playing all day, they've been indulging all day, they want to go home, right? So why not just put the broadcast right in the middle of the day? People may be playing in open events, but they can play, hop over, watch a little bit, then
Correct.
go back to playing. Like, it should be part of an atmosphere and getting people at the most exciting parts of the day. So that's also a big change. And shout out to our events team for putting, a great layout in there. And there's Kat Halbert and Fred Bouchero on our team that are doing all the legwork, and even people like Victoria Weiskopf and Jenna Campbell, who've done a lot of the support on the design elements of how do we take our sets and our broadcast layouts and our events even to the next level. So that's been another thing too, that again, all the different pieces of our business are now working towards that one goal, which is getting more people to want to play cornhole and specifically play in ACL cornhole events across any levels.
I think teams has potential with these changes. I did like the format changes. It's enough of a change to like the average viewer. It's like, oh, this looks different. Like, what is this, to kind of pay attention a little bit. Little things that like tandem doubles in theory could be the best, like, to watch, right? Like, you have two partners on, but then when you watch it, it doesn't translate, because then you realize like, oh, both guys are just going to slide the bag in the hole. But like in theory, if you put like we all think of like, oh, strategy, like you put a guy who's an elite dirty bag and can really block, and another guy that can airmail over top. And until we see that, like, I feel like tandem's going to be just another ho hum. Like,
I'd almost rather see another crew cup.
Yeah. And then my
crew cup to me is just,
I thought the match itself, at least the first broadcast, it was the slingers versus coasters that I saw. I thought it was solid, and I was so excited because we had a big time matchup, right? In singles, you got Tony Smith going against Jamie Graham, and then 2 rounds in, Tony Smith apparently was pouting because like the boards were too fast, and it just came across as like he didn't care. And again, I can't say this enough. Like, if you act like you don't care, then like I'm not going to give a shit.
Yeah, no one's going to care though.
Yeah, that's just how it came across. Yeah. And again, Tony's an awesome player. He's been an excellent ambassador for the league across the board. But on the broadcast, it kind of came across as like. And again, if you're a pro athlete and you're like a pro player, you got to be able to adapt. I know everyone's complaining about the boards being fast, and like I know there was I should probably get to some of the listener questions, but I think one of the big questions was, what are you guys going to do about the broadcast boards? Like, is there going to be any changes? And my thing is like, if they kind of know that they're going to be faster, you just got to adjust. You can do bag changes too, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, like you can change bags that you're throwing and just make sure you have different sets. And I know they got to be solid color and all that stuff, but that's part of your responsibility as being pro. Like being,
yeah. And so, I mean, and here's the other thing. The cool thing is too, is actually we now have data to support a lot of this. And so one thing that Anthony Ione has been working on a lot in what we're calling kind of the ACL lab is doing data analysis on bags. So now we have, from all of the 15 most popular materials in the game, we now have humidity data and temperature data and how bags react in speeds, both brand new and broken in, across varying levels of humidity and temperature. The most important thing is humidity. Surprise, surprise. Yep. I know that sounds like everything, but even the difference between the humidity that you can detect and the ones that you're not going to, right? So for example, the difference between 40 and 50% humidity is going to make a difference on board speed. And so here's a prime example. We go into Fort Lauderdale Convention Center this past week. Okay. And on setup day, they don't turn on the air conditioning because there's no need to, right? We're not having an event for people. It's load-in day. The load-in doors are going to be open, blah, blah. So what do? You put in your boards wherever you're supposed to put them in, right? Well, didn't realize they kick on the AC that the live stream boards were directly underneath an active vent. So what does a vent do?
Cools it down.
A vent is always going to wipe moisture from boards, right? And so it keeps any moisture from accumulating on the boards, right? In that instance, that particular board just being in an area where it has better ventilation. And here's the other thing too, is people are like, well, it's a newer board. It's not. It from the exact same batch, made the exact same time, gone to the exact same number of events, all of the lifespan, material, coating, everything exactly the same from the boards throughout the rest of the venue. it can be faster just based on the localized humidity. Now, what I will say is we do know that boards do slow over time. And so because of that, when we talk about our new broadcast boards, right? They have to be new. One, because there's new sponsors. I actually made a joke. Someone, I think it was Dean Norton. You know how he is, right? So he was having fun. He's like, hey, what do we got to do about these new boards? I said, all right, I'm going to write down a number of what all these sponsors paid to have these logos on these boards. I'm going to hand it to you. And if you write me a check for that amount, I'll put different boards on here and you can pick the boards in the venue that you want. And so we had a nice little laugh about that. So that's one element of it. But the second is, yes, they're generally newer. However, we are starting to experiment in the shop with and we have to be careful about this, right? Because I'm not ready to say this 100%. We're experimenting with some type of pre-breaking in process, right? The idea of, can we simulate 1,000 bags being thrown on a board without modifying, because we don't want to modify the coding, right? Because then it's not the same board, right?
Correct.
But is there a way that we can, quote, break in boards similar to how we break in bags, right? So I think I saw a comment on social media one time. It's like, just throw them in your HQ for a month. And I was like, well, if I had a month in between when a sponsor sometimes gets locked in and whatever, then yeah, I could do that, right? Sometimes it's like, get that board printed, it goes in the truck.
And people aren't just like mailing you guys checks like every day, like just put our logo on the board.
You just, you print that bitch, you get it finished with its UV everything, and then you whip it with a sock full of quarters. All right, it'll be good to go. No problem.
Done.
All right,
so,
just to stress
there's things that we recognize it for sure, that like there's some things that we just can't avoid. I can't avoid humidity and fluctuations between venues and even within a single venue. It's never going to change, right? I can't change that. I have to have newer boards on the broadcast, right? What we can change, maybe, is there a way that in the future that we can get to a point where the way that we break in new boards changes so that it becomes a little bit more manageable and a little bit more moderate? Because I don't think I ever want slow conditions. I don't think I ever want super fast conditions. I do kind of like a variety, but if the average of all that variety comes out to be moderate, then I think that's ultimately a win.
And let's come down to, it comes down to this, right? If you play on boards that are in quotes fast, but you win, and then you play on fast boards that the same boards, but you lose, your thoughts on the boards are completely hinge on whether you won or lost that match. Let's not, right? Rarely are we finding the winning side complaining like, oh yeah, they're way too fucking fast. Like, you're right. Like, but I had to still beat you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't find that.
Maybe I think one of these days I'll see someone break out a suede bag on the broadcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't complain about when you guys have all this technology. You guys are pros. You guys, and again, it's not. This is what it comes down to. Like, it drives me crazy when sometimes there's this stigma of like, oh, we're professional players. Like, okay, well then fucking act like it. If all your job is and you're a big boy, is to show up to a tournament, throw bags, at least you can do is have the right equipment with you for all situations, right? At least bring a fucking pro jersey with your sponsors on it if someone paid you, right? Bring bags that are appropriate for if you happen to make the broadcast. It's just like that
Sean,
kind of
you're
stuff.
Asking a lot.
It just pisses me off. But then I see this question in here about players getting a salary. Like, what the fuck do they need a salary for right now? Half of them, like they have them. They don't even bring their pro jersey when they're on broadcast. You guys have to give them a jersey, and they want a salary to get paid for what? Throwing a beanbag at a board? Get the fuck out of here. You guys should be happy that anyone's paying you anything.
It's a great rant.
Sorry. So, anyways.
Honestly, Trey, I'm thinking about this whole like board debacle. What if we just go like no finish, just nude wood?
Nude wood.
Like, just make the boards that way. You guys could just have, like make that like the green screen, just project it on like for the broadcast. Then everyone just has to play on no finish boards. Everything's just the same slow, sloppy mess all the time.
I would still love.
Now you got me thinking though. What if we did like, dang, you might get some credit for this.
I know,
if we
right?
Tried one time, like what if we had the same broadcast board every single time, and it was just a white blank board. And then we
just project it up on there,
right?
Lobo light that just shot down the logo.
Could shoot down the logo, no problem, right onto the board.
I mean, we could start playing virtual cornhole. You don't even have to throw a real bag. It's just a arm speed angle.
Actually, just have them up on the screen. You play the ACL video game. Boom. Yeah. We all know the physics on that.
I don't know about you, but like in real golf, I'm not shooting 200 par. But on golf simulator, I could shoot 200 par. But on a real course, I'm not doing that shit. So
absolutely.
I mean, my hopes would be there. So, all right. Well, this has been we have taken up a lot of time. It's been Good enough.
We always take up a
I
lot
know.
of time. Come on. Now.
So we'll let the folks go at home. Did you have anything else? Have you have like I kind of
Nope,
cut you
good,
off like
good.
mid like ending?
Any other
all that
like
stuff.
nuggets of
Yeah.
information you want to bequeath upon the community
Yeah,
here?
you guys got all the breaking news
For sure.
I like it.
I can't wait to see the reaction to this.
Well, we always appreciate you.
There's gonna be that one guy that won round limited, had an open, be like, no, no.
I finally cracked on it. So all right, so we'll let the folks go. Trey, thank you as always. We'll have you hang on for just a minute. Check out Patreon because this is like going to be a separate episode. So
Oh well, there we
we'll
go.
add a live read in the beginning that you
Yeah.
already heard. But yeah, go check out Patreon if you're looking to support the show. It's patreon.com/bigasscornhole. And for the price of beer a month, you can help us keep doing what we're doing. But Trey, thank you very much. Always a pleasure having you. And we'll be back next week with more audio gold.
Hell yeah! And if you have any questions about your Disney experience, just hit up Trey Ryder.
Yeah.
He knows all the ins and outs. He's the
For a
one.
small fee, he can make your trip even more magical.
Yes.
How about that? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, we
thanks,
hope you
guys.
throw it straight as none but four baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later. Dean's trying to end
Hang
it.
on. You know, we're trying to end it. It's okay.
It's the first time.
Things are happening. What happened to the?
I don't know.
Hang on. Let me
Is it up
let me
top?
try it up here.
There it is. Oh, it
Recording
changed.
stopped.
That was
Hey,
weird.
there we go.
How about that?
Okay.
You got to end it on the other one?
Yeah, this one's
It's
not
just-
the problem. Like that's
There we go.
it's
We
just
know
the
where that
other
one's
one.
at.